Hi everyone, Erica from Bravo Migration here. Today, giving you a little bit of an overview of what's happening in terms of planning levels and states and territory allocations for permanent visas, and also looking at some trends that we can see emerging. As we tell you, every new financial year, the government allocates a certain number of places for permanent visa grants. So that includes the family migration program, that includes the employer permanent migration program, and the general skilled migration visas, or the points tested visas, and so on. Now, we published and we wrote about and we did videos about the number of places that have been allocated as a whole for the migration program this year, and we're looking at 190,000, almost 200,000 visas to be granted this year. We're only talking about permanent visas. Temporary visas are not capped. They don't have a limit, such as student visas, visitor visas, working holiday visas, sponsorship visas. Those visas are demand driven. But for permanent visas, the government sets a maximum number because people, when they become permanent residents, they have access to benefits, Medicare, free schooling for their children, and so on. So we published those numbers for you. And we were very happy to see a very high number of permanent places for permanent employer visas, over 37, almost 37,000 visas for the whole year. And we also saw that the GSM, or the points tested visas, that doesn't require you to have an employer sponsoring or nominating you. There's 3 visas in that program. Each one of them had around 30,000 places, making up almost 100,000 places there just with these visas for the whole program. Now, last week, the states and territories were allocated their quotas for the 491 and the 190 regional and state nominated visas. 190 and 491 require a state or territory nomination. And we were a bit surprised when we saw that the states and territories didn't get a lot of places. And the amount of the places that were allocated to states and territories doesn't add up to what has been allocated in the annual planning as a whole. So we are thinking about what is the objective, what is the government doing? And there's 2 things that can be the reason for that. One, the government may increase the number of places for the 189 visa, which is a GSM visa, permanent skilled independent visa. It's a points tested visa. And this visa doesn't require a state or territory nomination. Maybe they're going to end up inviting more people for that visa, as they did last financial year, than for the regional visas. Who knows? But what we know for sure is that this means there's more places for the permanent employer visas. So more than ever, and we are always, beating on the same drum here, more than ever, sponsorship visas are a great strategy for you if you want to stay in Australia permanently. You start on a temporary 482 and then progress to a permanent 186 employer nomination scheme visa, or you apply directly to that visa via the direct entry. Now, even more important, we have also talked about this over and over. The government announced that by the end of 2023, we're almost there, it's September as I record this, everyone who has a sponsorship visa will be able to progress to a 186 permanent employer visa if obviously they meet all the requirements for that visa, age, English, employer, etc. But at the moment, only people who can nominate an occupation in the medium and long-term skills shortage list can progress to a 186 after being on a temporary 482 sponsorship visa or apply via direct entry. What the government is going to do is let anyone, regardless of your occupation, after 2 years, not 3 anymore, they're reducing it to 2. After 2 years, you're going to be able to at least approach your employer and say, look, I'm eligible for permanent residence now. How about nominating me? So this uncertainty about the points-tested visas, the independent subclass, and the lack of places for the regional ones may indicate that it's a good idea to go with an employer-sponsored visa. Now, there's also another reason that could be why there were not many places allocated to the states and territories. There was a lot of people waiting from last year to be nominated. We had a few clients in that situation. And as soon as the places were allocated, the states already nominated them. So they still have people from last year to use up. So maybe the federal government thought that would be enough for them this year. We'll see. We're certainly going to know more as we go along, and we're always going to share it with you. Another peculiarity in this financial year is that although there's been 1,900 places allocated for the business innovation and investor visa, this visa is a state-nominated visa, so we need a state or a territory to actually nominate the visa applicant. Although there's 1,900 places at the federal total planning levels, no states or territories were allocated places for this visa, meaning they can't nominate anyone new for this visa. So we had a few clients seeking advice from us and saying, I want to look into this visa. And we had to say, sorry, not this year. There's no point in us having a consultation with you about this visa because we can't. Only next year if they open for nominations again. Now, if you have a pending business investor visa application, there's so many applications at hand that those 1,900 places will be used to grant visas to these people. So the department doesn't want the states nominating anyone new. This could also go in line with the recommendations that were made with the review of the migration system undertaken last year, and that, the results were published in May this year by Claire O'Neill, Minister of Home Affairs. The recommendation was to end the business investor visa, hopefully replacing it with a visa that works better for the applicants and for the country, because at the moment, this visa is not serving either purpose. I just hope they don't end the visa completely. So here's our take on what's happening right now. We have been publishing the number of places on our Instagram account for each state and territory, so you can see how many places each state and territory got. Soon we're going to have a blog post covering all the requirements. There's been some changes. Some states still haven't published what their occupation lists or requirements are. They're really taking their time because they got less places, allocations than they expected. But you can always count on us preparing a detailed blog post. I'm also going to be presenting a webinar on the subject on the 28th of September. You can register via our channel on Eventbrite, and our Instagram has a link to that as well. And most importantly, if you're in Australia, if you're already sponsored on a 42 visa, or if you have a job offer, get in touch with us. We offer free discovery chats with our migration agents, so you can find out if you qualify for a sponsorship visa or for the permanent visa, and create a strategy, because this looks like it's the most certain way of getting permanent residence this financial year, all of a sudden. If you, however, have an occupation in demand and you're thinking about the 189 visa, we can also help you. Get in touch with us and we can book a consultation with one of our agents. Our visa action plan consultation can look at your whole situation and get you on the right track. So far, thanks for watching, and we'll be in touch soon with more updates and information about immigration to Australia. Bye.